All right, a quick little tidbit about gravity. I keep reading these articles on the internet about gravity and black holes and gravitational waves and all these gravity themed discussions, and I wanted to give my 5 cents about that because I do have my own abilities. So it's kind of like, the way I'd explain gravity is, what I would say is that, you have air, you have water, and you have gravity. So like if you look at water or the oceans, you have this invisible plasma substance in which, life can move in multiple dimensions. So they need to be structured in a way that they can do that in the density of water. And then you have air, right? It's a much finer density. And so now, instead of fins, you need wings and feathers, because air is much finer than water. So your structure needs to be able to adapt to move three-dimensionally in that density. And then you have gravity. So when you see in the movies the UFOs flying around, like with their electromagnetic engines, and they're moving around like if they're birds or fish, and you're like, well, what are they moving in? Well, they're moving inside of gravity. Anti-gravity propulsion systems. Anyways, so the way that works for anyone to understand is it's just that. It's that fish have figured out how to move three-dimensionally in the density of water. Birds have figured out how to move three-dimensionally in the density of air. And advanced civilizations which have found ways to create technologies that can ride the wave. Surfers will understand that. You're riding a gravitational wave on your surfboard, but it's a wave. It's not water wave. It's a gravity wave, because the entire universe is made of gravity. Now you're going to say, why is the universe made of gravity? And to me, that's what I find is the interesting question, because the answer is fascinating. The reason everything is gravity is because everything is resolutions. Because the reason there is gravity is because all of existence is twofold. It's the known and the unknown. That's why there's gravity. Now, you have to imagine that gravity is a current. It's a current. So like, let's say if you step into a river, you feel the current of the river. It's pushing on you. And gravity, it does the exact same thing. But now you're asking, well, what's moving? There's nothing moving. Why am I stuck to this planet? Well, what's moving is what is imperceptible. Gravity is imperceptible. And it has to be that way, because the nature of gravity is that it is the natural flow of the unknown into the known through high resolution to low resolution. And so it's like there's two worlds, like I said, the known and the unknown. And you're like, yeah, well, why would the whole universe abide by a law that is strict to human beings? Well, our existence to human beings is strict to human beings, right? Like bats can detect things that we can't, and so can dolphins, and so their existence is adapted to their structure. Now, the existence that is adapted to our structure is that we are limited by the structure of our being, so there's only certain frequencies that we can detect through our 5 senses. So in order for our bodies to know if something is real, for some reason, the intelligence that created the entire existence, universe, and whatever, thought that we would need five points of reference. And that would let our organism know for a fact that what we are looking at does in fact exist. So, you have your sight and your hearing and your smelling and your touching and your tasting. And I don't know if I left any out, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, obviously, our sight and all these things that we can, our feeling and everything that we have to translate reality to us so that we can exist in it, isn't infinite in its range of frequency. It's limited. It's very limited. However, existence is infinite. So we can only use a limited tool to perceive an infinite existence. And so what that means is that we're left with an existence where we are in the known, which is a sliver of the unknown. We exist like in a light beam, and we try to stay in it as much as we can. We try to hang on to our culture, we try to hang on to our education system, we try to hang on to the things that we believe in, so that we don't fall off the edge of this light beam into the dark unknown that we can't perceive. But the fact is that the known and the unknown, that flows, just like the oceans flow, just like air flows, just like everything flows. Hi. So the unknown flows into the known, and then the known flows back into the unknown. And so we have life and pre-life and afterlife and the past and the present and the future, and all these things are realities about our existence. So now going back to gravity, now what's gravity? Gravity is how the unknown enters the known. So when you see, let's say, you're like, where did the tree come from? Well, the tree came from a tiny ass little seed. But that little seed, it grew from the inside out. You know what I mean? You didn't see things being added onto the seed. If you cut the tree into pieces, you're not going to find the seed in the middle of it. The seed grew from a different dimension, a dimension that's not linear. It grew from a dimension that's like a portal. From a vortex. Okay, so it grew. The existence came out from within, and it grew from the inside out, the seed, and he ended up having this goddamn gigantic tree. So all that we see, all of existence, everything that we perceive, everything that is in our life that we can touch, feel, smell, or whatever, it came into this existence through that vortex manner. You know what I mean? It's very, 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 very few things are linear. So that movement, that's a tremendous amount of movement for something to go from an extremely, low resolution to move itself into extremely high resolution. You know, at first you can't even see it. And then later you can see it and it gets bigger and bigger. Next thing it's like big, and next thing you can't even fit it in the house. So, and then at the same time, you have, the current doesn't just stop in the known. The current keeps moving. It's flowing. It's a whirl. The world is a world. WHORLD. So obviously you have entropy and you have corruption and you have dissipation, and that's why the universe dissipates, and that's why things that have structure also dissipate and fall apart and break, and human beings and systems, they also have their own form of entropy. It's called corruption, and it's very natural. That's why we have to keep an eye on corruption, and then we have to speak the truth about it, and then we can avoid the entire game of society turning into a fucking tyranny where the game doesn't even exist anymore, because we'll just throw the whole game away, and then the bully of the game can do whatever they want, and then you have a tyrant. Jesus Christ, it's history is cyclical. It's always been that way. The wise king and the tyrant. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. But these things are completely natural. So when you have this flow of everything that is unknown moving into everything that is known, and everything that is known moving back into the unknown, and this whirl of all matter and energy happening infinitely, it creates a current, right? It creates a current, and that current is gravity. So there you go. So that's what gravity is. Video's long enough. Okay, go make a good day. You can't have a good day unless you make it.